Voiceover script. Hook. 3 sentences. The cops pulled up with sirens screaming, neighbors craning their necks from behind their curtains. And there she was, our self-crowned HOA queen, pointing at me like I was some criminal, shrieking that I'd vandalized my own pool. Truth is, I drained it on purpose, because it was the only way to stop her from stealing it. Act 1. The spark. You know how some people think a clipboard makes them royalty? That was Karen, our HOA president, our suburban dictator, and apparently the self-appointed owner of my backyard. That Saturday morning, I was skimming leaves from the pool, my brother Sam's sanctuary, the one thing that kept his anxiety at bay, when I heard her heels clicking across my patio like gunshots. Clipboard in one hand, fake smile plastered on. She barked out orders like a sheriff. Big news, she announced, loud enough to scare the birds. The HOA is hosting a VIP soiree, and your pool is the centerpiece. I just stared. My pool, I asked slowly, pointing at the sign on the gate. Private property. No trespassing. And it wasn't subtle. Sam had even painted flowers around the edges to soften it. Karen sniffed. That's cute. But per our new event priority mandate, Section C, subsection 4. She tapped her clipboard like it was scripture. Prime community areas can be used for official HOA functions. I've designated your pool as designated. I repeated. My patience cracked. Karen, this is my yard. My deed, my brother's safe space. You're not hosting a party here. Her smile dropped. Her voice went brittle. You'll regret this. There are fines. Big fines. You'll see. Then she spun on her heel and stomped off, leaving silence thick as smoke. Sam clutched his sketchbook tighter. She can't really do that, can she? I pulled him close. Don't worry. Buddy, I'll handle her. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Karen wasn't the type to give up, not when she thought she was right, which was always. Act 2. Pressure cooker. 2 days later, Sam found it taped to our door, a 2-page official mandate reserving my pool for the Willow Creek HOA VIP party. It even presumed access to homeowner restroom facilities, my house, my bathroom. My blood boiled just watching Sam's hands tremble holding it. That night, lying awake, I wondered if I should just cave. What if the fines snowballed? What if Karen dragged us into court? I looked at Sam through his bedroom door, finally asleep, breathing steady, and thought, maybe I should just let it go. Maybe keeping the peace was worth swallowing my pride. But then I remembered, she wasn't just after a pool, she was after control. If I gave in once, it would never stop. The next morning, Hank, my retired plumber neighbor, and Karen's favorite target, called me chuckling. Heard the imperial decree arrived. You gonna build a moat? I've got pipes. Then his tone shifted. Careful though. Tom saw her at the clubhouse bragging about non-refundable deposits. Sounds like she's selling tickets. That stopped me cold. It wasn't just arrogance, she was profiting off my property. Fraud. Plain and simple. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with the deed spread out. HOA laws in one pile, coffee in the other. Every line confirmed what I knew. She had no legal right. Nothing gave her power over my backyard. And that's when it hit me, the simplest, cleanest way to end it. She wanted a pool. Fine. She just wouldn't have any water in it. Operation Drainpipe. Saturday dawned bright and warm, the perfect pool party weather. I set my plan in motion. Before sunrise, I slid a letter into an envelope, addressed to Karen and the board. Urgent homeowner maintenance. Pool closed until further notice. Then I delivered it through Janice, her lemon-sucking crony, as she walked her poodle. Back home, I wheeled out my submersible pump, ran the hose to the storm drain, and flipped the switch. The motor hummed, water gushed, and with every gallon pouring out, I felt a weight lift off me. By the time Sam shuffled onto the patio, rubbing his eyes, the shallow end was already showing tile. He froze. Then a slow grin spread across his face. You're really doing it? Yep, I said, sipping coffee. Urgent maintenance. Can't be too careful. For the first time all week, he laughed. Around 9, Hank strolled over with his terrier Max. Maintenance, huh? He grinned. Elegant, simple, and legal. Poetry. He offered to bring donuts. I waved him off, but couldn't help smiling. By mid-morning, the water was down several feet. That's when Karen's car screeched to the curb. She marched up my driveway, Janice scurrying behind, eyes already darting toward the backyard. "Tom," she barked. "What is the meaning of this? The setup crew is on their way." I stood, calm. "Morning, Karen. Lovely day for maintenance." Her face reddened. "This is sabotage. You're obstructing an HOA-sanctioned event." "Correction," I said, holding up my deed. "This is private property. The pool, the patio, the whole backyard, it's mine. And you're not using it." Her eyes narrowed. "That mandate supersedes your little deed." I leaned in, lowered my voice. "Before or after you sold tickets, Karen?" For the first time, she faltered. Janice gasped. I saw at the crack in her armor, but instead of backing down, she hissed through her teeth. "This isn't over. The fines will be astronomical." Then she stormed back to her car, tires screeching. Sam whispered, "She's gonna come back, isn't she?" "Yeah," I said, staring at the draining pool, "but so will the truth." Act 3, showdown. By early afternoon, the pool was bone dry. Blue tiles glared under the sun, a giant empty crater. I propped up a bold sign. "Pool closed. Owner repairs. No trespassing." Right at 2 o'clock, shiny SUVs and sedans started rolling in. Out stepped Karen's VIP's men in yacht club polos, women in oversized hats, influencers already live streaming. They clustered at the gate, confusion spreading as they spotted my sign. And the empty pool. A woman with too much perfume sniffed. "Karen, darling, is this performance art?" Karen's smile froze. No, it's just a temporary issue." A man in a blazer scowled. "We paid $100 each for this. Looks more like an archaeological dig than an oasis." Murmurs spread. Guests backed away. Phones filmed. And then Karen snapped. She spun on me, her face twisted. "What have you done?" "This is vandalism. I'm calling the police." Before I could answer, she was already dialing 911, screaming into the phone. "He drained HOA property. He ruined our fundraiser. Send officers immediately." I just sat back in my lawn chair, coffee in hand. "Showtime," I muttered. Police arrival. Within minutes, 2 cruisers pulled up, lights flashing. Neighbors crowded their porches. Karen rushed to the first officer, pointing wildly. "That man vandalized our pool." The officer, tall, stone-faced, looked from me to the dry basin. "Sir," he asked, "did you drain this pool today?" Knowing there was an event scheduled, my heart pounded. For a split second, doubt gnawed. What if they believed her? What if this whole plan backfired? I took a deep breath, held out my deed. "Officer, this is my property, my pool. I drained it for urgent maintenance, and I gave notice." I pointed to my posted sign, my letter in hand. The officer scanned the papers, then turned to Karen. "Ma'am, this deed shows the pool is private property. HOA rules cannot override ownership. Did this man ever give you permission to host an event here?" Her face went pale. "Well, no. But the mandate. Mandates don't trump property rights." He cut her off. "And filing a false police report is a crime." Behind her, a lawyer-looking guest stepped forward. "Excuse me, officer, did you say false report?" "Because I paid $100 for this so-called soiree, if she sold tickets without permission, that's fraud." Gasps. Guests turned on her. Phones caught every second. Karen stammered, tears threatening, clipboard slipping from her hand. "This is all a misunderstanding." But the crowd wasn't buying it. The lawyer talked about lawsuits. Influencers whispered about scam HOA president exposed. The officer handed her back the crumpled mandate. "Ma'am, I suggest you refund these people and step down from this nonsense before it gets worse." Collapse. Karen just stood there, broken. As her guest stormed off, her precious clipboard lay forgotten in the dirt. Hank strolled by with his dog, smirking. "Tough break, Karen. Guess the pool wasn't up to code, huh?" Even his terrier lifted a leg on her prized marigolds. She shot me one last look, hatred mixed with despair, then trudged back to her car and drove off without a word. Silence fell, heavier than any cheer. Sam came out onto the patio, eyes wide, relief written all over his face. "You did it. Tom, you really did it." I looked at the empty pool gleaming under the sun. It wasn't victory champagne or a crowd applauding, just quiet. The kind of quiet you fight for. Closing reflection. The fallout was fast. Karen's meltdown went viral, hashtags mocking her, videos racking up thousands of views. A week later, she resigned. The mandate got shredded. The HOA picked new leaders who actually cared about neighbors instead of power trips. But for me, the real win was simpler. Sam sketching by the pool again, smiling in peace. That was worth every drop of water I drained. Sometimes the only way to protect your home is to stand your ground, even if it means emptying a pool. And trust me, nothing's sweeter than watching a Karen's power go right down the drain. This is Everyday Karen Tales. And that's the lesson I'll never forget.